All right, everybody, welcome back to this Fixx album review series. We are at our third last stop here before we do the big ranking. Of course, last time we ended things with 1011 Woodland in 1999. We enter with 2003's Want That Life. Very cool, kind of beachy album cover there, you know. And it really this album cover really kind of fits the vibe on this album for sure. With kind of just the way, even we'll kick things off with just like the production, very open and kind of free sounding and very free flowing production wise. And the Fixx just sounds really damn good with this modern production sound. So, not that their others weren't fantastic production. You can even say, some of their like Reach the Beach, Phantom, stuff like that's probably better produced as some of their best production. But I would throw this up there as far as like production-wise, one of their best albums because just the way they really mixed this thing was really freaking good. But let's open up things with already one of the best tracks, right? Opening track. That's always a blessing when that happens. We're talking about the song Touch. Very, very cool. Got a really cool groove to it going on. I really, really dig this chorus and just the whole. This is how you go into the 2000s and open something up, being like, hey, look, we're still the same band. We just got that little bit of a modern touch. And no pun intended. But yeah, the Touch was the perfect opener, I think, for this album, and is one of the best tracks off here right off the bat. I love, in particular, the background vocals on this one, which we'll see kind of as a consistent theme on this album, being a really prominent and really good part of the album. And the background vocals, singing sweet and tender, really, really hooky and just a really, really cool song. Then we go on to another just fantastic one that really shows off the production on here. You Don't Have to Prove Yourself. Very great song, yet again with some really hooky moments. Also one that kind of sounds like, sounds very, very much like a rhythm, much like the first track that could be on Reach the Beach, just the kind of the way the riff and the rhythm of this one goes. That's a very good thing. Again, showing that they are still the Fixx at their roots. They dabbled over the years up to this point and even, beyond everything with some different kind of ideas and such. But they've never really ventured too far off from who they are, and they continue doing that in the 2000s here with this. So, and You Don't Have to Prove Yourself proves that, right? It proves that they're still, going with what they know. Then we go with Are You Satisfied? Really solid one here yet again. We're 3 for 3. I dig the I really dig JB West Orm's playing on this one. There are some kind of acoustic elements kind of scattered throughout this album. Really, really solid one. I think this one is another one of the really strong tracks off here. Then we go with Want That Life. And this one, the title track here, it's one of my least favorites off here. That and the one that follows it, which we'll get to. But Want That Life, it kind of has like this kind of chant-like kind of thing going on, which it's all right. I don't think it's a bad song. It's got its place on the album to kind of break up a little bit of the pace, and it's cool. It's hooky, and even the verses are really hooky. Those are probably more hooky than the chorus themselves. That Want That Life, want that. It'll get in your head. It's good. It's a solid song, but just one that I would maybe go back to. Not as much as some of these other ones. And my absolute least favorite off here is We Don't Own the World. This one also kind of has this chanty kind of thing going on, but not really. It just doesn't really do it too much for me. It kind of sounds like a world music kind of thing, We don't own the world, and it's just kind of it's a little corny to me, but it's okay. I don't think it's one of their worst songs they've ever done by any means, or even a bad song. And yet again, much like Want That Life, it's got its place to kind of break up the pace on the album and everything. And to me too, I think it's kind of good they kind of knock out these two of my least favorites pretty early on. So it's like, all right, we're kind of moved past those now. So then we go with kind of a softer one here with No Hollywood Ending, and I really dig this one. More of a ballad kind of deal. Love the piano and such and the keyboards and stuff going on this one, and again that kind of acoustic element that they've really brought in on their later 90s records and really continue to have that element present on these other albums going forward. Maybe not as prominent as some of those later 90s albums and theirs and everything, but I think No Hollywood Ending's a really good one, which is also kind of another good little pace breaker, you know, as it is kind of a slower, more just kind of very euphoric song and kind of a relaxing kind of song going on, and just a really pretty one at that too. So No Hollywood Ending, another really solid one that's got its good spot, you know, on the album. Then we go with Straight Round the Bend. Man, I forgot just how damn good this one was, but I remember really liking this one the first time I ever heard this album, and I remember why now. That riff is so freaking good. Jamie West Orm's got that that distortion whenever he does something like that, you know, sometimes kind of shakes things up, adds a little distortion or does a little bit of a different guitar tone kind of going on. It always amounts to something awesome, it seems. And this is just one of his best damn riffs for me. I love just the whole pacing of this song and everything, the build up and everything going on with it. The way it even, you know, kind of ends with the chorus and that main really hooky riff going on, and then, you know, the kind of powerful overlay of a vocal that Cy Curnin does is just beautiful. Gives me the goosebumps just thinking about it. Straight Round the Bend is just a freaking great all-time Fixx song for me. I forgot how much I love that. Kind of forget. It had been a while since I'd listened to this album. But I remember, like, whenever I was popping this on, I looked at the title. I'm like, I remember really liking that one. I'm trying to remember what it went like. And then I did, and I'm like, oh, that's why. Like, immediately remembered and recalled just how badass of a song Straight Round the Bend is. One of, if not my favorites off here, like the top 2 or 3 easily. Then we go with Roger and Out, and this is another one of my least favorites. It's kind of cool. It's kind of spacey. Got that kind of feel to it, maybe even a little bit of like a psychedelic kind of feel. Not too much, but just maybe a little bit of it. And it's a decent one, to say the least. And it's another one that's also just got its place on here that I think it fits fine on where it's at in the album and does what it needs to do. Kind of, you know, keeping a good variety on this album. Then we go with another just all-time great for me, Taking the Long Way Home. I really like this one. I really like the riff going on here. It's super hooky. One of those ones that, you know, also when looking at this before I popped it in again, I was like, I remember this one. I remember the chorus and everything about it. Love this one. This one seems like, I'm not really sure the commercial success of this. I don't think it was too big, at least here in the States, but I feel like this one definitely could have been like a really good big single. Like you put this song on one of their 80s albums, and I feel like it could have been a pretty big hit for them. And I mean, it's just got such a cool feel to it. Really like the ending, again, where, you know, Cy Curnin, just you let him go. I mean, you find that a lot in their discography, kind of like the endings of these, and he's just kind of, seems like he's kind of ad-libbing, just kind of going to town vocally, and he just kicks ass and knocks it out of the park. And he does it again on this one. And speaking of doing it again here in the final track, we're talking about Brave. This one is so freaking good. I mean, you open up with a saxophone solo going on, and I'm a sucker for a saxophone, right? Very cool instrument. Love the sound of it and everything. Brave, this one is one of my favorites, if not, I'd say like the top 2 for me are Brave and Straight Round the Bend. Just, they're that damn good. And maybe Taking a Long Way Home and Touch kind of fall behind them, but Brave, so good. This is another one where the background vocals, you know, like, it'll kind of do that strumming riff, and then, you know, you'll hear Brave, like in the background. Love it. And then it kind of slows down a little bit, and you get this really cool kind of slow, but really kind of, and very alien sounding kind of, I mean, you get that, of course, that Jamie West Durham guitar tone, and it just really kind of trickles down, and then just the vocal build up here into back into the chorus. Love, love, love it. This was one of my favorite Fixx songs, period. It has been ever since I first heard this album. Just fantastic stuff here. These guys knock it out of the park again. I mean, we're just going. We're going for gold here. Album after album, the Fixx has just rocked it out. Even as we saw on the album I used to hate, but then ended up being like, I kind of really dig this one. Coming back to it with Elemental, right? So we've been on this streak of great albums, and we're gonna find out if they can keep that up when we fast forward all the way to 2012. That's right, only one studio album for this whole 2000s decade, which again, this was 2003. Go all the way till 2012, so 9 years until another album with Beautiful Friction. So that'll be the second last one we do. And which is kind of crazy. I'm thinking about it too. After Beautiful Friction, they waited like another 10 years, until the most recent one came out in 2022. So kind of crazy how they waited that long. I would like some more consistent album releases, guys, because I love your stuff. But anyways, yeah, guys, I want to know your guys' thoughts about this one. If you've heard it, if not, and you give it a listen, what do you think about it? Because I've always thought of this one ever since I first heard it as like this hidden gem that, it being one of those 2000s Fixx albums that kind of goes under the radar, but just is such a damn good album all throughout. And yet again, even the songs that I'm not the fondest of off here are good, and they really, the way they're placed on the album don't really, it's not like you're getting a bunch of ones that are kind of what you maybe think is filler tracks in a row. They're really paced out very well, like even the ones again that I'm not the biggest fan of. So they've got their place on the album, breaking up the pace and doing being that more, especially with We Don't Own the World and Want That Life being kind of those more upbeat kind of tracks. But just a fantastic album with fantastic production. The Fixx do it again with Want That Life, and I want to know what you guys think about this thing down there. I know it was really cool talking to one of you down there about some of these Fixx albums and stuff, who's a really big fan, so that's always cool to meet a big fan of one of these just really underrated synth pop bands. So really want to hear your opinion on that down there, buddy. So anyways, guys, like, subscribe, comment. We're going to keep this thing going. We got 2 more Fixx album reviews to go before the big ranking. And then, of course, that at that ranking, we'll do the big reveal of the next band, which will I'll tell you, it'll be a one and done, and then another big discography that we'll go through. So anyways, guys, stay tuned for all that, and thanks.